Hey, it's Judy Pfeifer. I'm back. Happy Pfeifer Focus. It's my quick podcast, and I'm going to start out today with a few quick statistics for you regarding the real estate market. Number one, did you realize the average days on market right now is 8? Did you realize that the average sales price right now is $738? So if you don't think you are in the right place, call me. I'll find you the right space. Today, I want to talk about service. I love giving back to my clients, my community, and I have a great example of this with my guest today, and he is the founder and president of Rivers Promise, my dear friend, Jimmy Lakey. Jimmy, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Miss Judy Pfeifer.
And tell us a little bit about how you started Rivers Promise.
Rivers Promise is a charity 501c3. I started it, 15 years ago or so, and it was a promise I made to my son. His name is River. Made a promise to River, Rivers Promise. He was an orphan I adopted from Africa, and I wanted to take care of all of his earliest friends and the children I couldn't adopt. So we've done that for 15 years or so, mainly focusing on education and making sure kids have the opportunity to go to school. If without us, they wouldn't have the opportunity to go to school in Rwanda, in Africa.
And I appreciate you doing that. Thank you. It is God's work. And you've gifted a lot of people with a lot of wonderful miracles. And so share with me, did this all of a sudden, this was just something you wanted to do one day? Like, hey, I want to go to Rwanda and help children?
I went to Rwanda as a chaperone for a college group that was going over there, and then through that process ended up adopting. But when I first saw my son in an orphanage, I saw these children that they all liked me. They all wanted to play with me, and I'm like, gosh, I can't adopt them all. And then I said, what's going to happen one day when my son looks back at a photo when he was little and say, Dad, what happened to those kids? And I did not want to say, I don't know, son. I said, I'm going to take care of those kids. We're going to help those kids to the best of our ability so that they have a little bit of hope for the future as well, and that we just do what's right. Don't ignore them. It's not their fault they couldn't get adopted.
Right. So you had a thought.
Yes.
And the thought turned into a plan.
Thought turned into a plan, and 16 years later, we're building our own school in Rwanda. We have children in sponsorship program, building our own school campus. We built about 20 plus houses for widows that usually live under banana leaves, never had shelter in their life, of clothing, food programs. We've done a little bit of everything, and we're still doing it.
Okay. I have a question. Water. Tell me about the water in Rwanda.
There's a lot of water, but unfortunately, it's not necessarily accessible to all the kids. They do a rainwater collection system. Some houses do. If they have a house, we're adding now into our sponsorship program clean water filtration so that every child gets actually a clean water filtration system that's pretty self-sustainable. And that's brand new. We just added that with our new school campus. We're adding clean water filtration there because one of the number one problems that brings sickness, disease there is just dirty water. And all over Africa, but Rwanda is no exception. Most people need to walk 2 to 3 miles just to find some decently clean water. And sometimes they have to walk further than that. And one of the people that get the water in the village or in these places are children. And children are supposed to walk 2 to 3 miles to get water, and they get distracted, start playing. And you can see them sometime on the side of the road dipping in and getting some nasty creek water, heading back to the house and say, Mama, I got the water. And that's going to make everybody sick. So clean water is very important.
Okay. So you were just there. You
Yes.
were there in end of March?
Yes.
Okay. And you took a group of people perhaps from Colorado. And there was one of your guests that you took with you that noticed a little boy named Steven. Can you tell us the story?
Steven's become a legend. Yeah. But Steven they called him One Shirt. He had a dirty old shirt. When you looked at it past the dirt, it said it had a Bart Simpson photo. So who knows where he got it. But we knew he wasn't one of our kids. My directors didn't even know who he was. But some of the high school boys kind of took a liking to him and said, who's One Shirt? Who is that kid? And he was just a smiley kid, but he obviously was sick. And so my guys sent some of their locals to find out he was from what they call 1 or 2 hills over. And anyway, the child had severe hepatitis, severe malnutrition, and we were able to, just because we're there, We had a licensed nurse practitioner with us, and she said, this kid's going to die if we don't get him help. So Stephen has now there's 3 different transfers, different hospitals, different doctors to know exactly what the best course of treatment was. He's finishing his medicine. We provided some food for his family. Stephen should start school. He's 9 years old. His mom passed away 6 years ago, so he never really knew his mom. Lives with his dad, who's very poor, and Stephen's going to start school. And because of that trip, most people from Colorado, his little brother Eric also got a sponsor, and because we found out he had a brother. So we really changed the life of this family, and we'll keep doing it. I've got a photo of the house he lives in, and got to build the kid a house. He's going on the list for that. But kid's going to school, and he's going to live because generosity, people helping us.
Again, service and giving back to others.
Yes.
Okay. And the stories, you have 15 years of these kinds of stories.
I could keep going all day long with stories. I got them all.
And share another one. Share one that maybe isn't as notorious. Maybe somebody.
Boy, where do you start? There's just so many. We had a lady. We usually talk about housing and education. We had a lady that first time I ever went to the village, she lived in squalor. And you couldn't tell there was a house. It wasn't really a house. It was a pile of leaves. And she lived under there. You wouldn't keep your outdoor lawnmower in that place. And we built this lady a house, and she didn't know how old she was. She said she's probably about 120. We figured she's probably about 80, but no one knew. She had no record. And every night of her life, she had slept in that kind of situation. So we built her a house, and I actually bought her personally a bed. She had never slept on a bed in her life. Her life changed the last 15 years, last 10 years of her life. She said, I now live like a human. I now live like a real person. And what's fascinating, she not only had a house, but she was able, when she passed away, she had something to pass down to a new generation. She had nothing. She was so broke and poor, but she was able to give her children and grandchildren a house to live in as well, which was unheard of, to give somebody something small, but for her it became generational wealth. And her life changed, and she lived very happy her last 10 years, and she had a bed. Imagine 70-something years old, never slept in a bed until you're that age.
Right. The simple things in life.
Simple things, we take them for granted.
Yes. Like water or sleeping on a bed. So tell me about an upcoming event that you have coming up here at the end of April. April
the 29th is our second ever Rivers Promise Casino Night and Poker Tournament. It's in Brighton, Colorado, at a good friend's private residence. He has a beautiful property, beautiful outbuilding. We set it up, professional casino games, professional dealers and teachers. Of course, it's all for fun. It's it's not Vegas, but it's a lot of fun. And we'll also have a poker tournament there as well. All the proceeds and anything that you donate that night goes straight to Rivers Promise. And it's just a fun event. We have a great caterer there, a chef. Chef Roger Cree is cooking all the food. Mm-hmm. Bev's Cheesecakes. We have a silent auction. Yes. Cheesecakes are phenomenal. There'll be the auction as well. It's a great event. Some people dress up Vegas flashy. Some people just show up normal. But all the tickets are available. It's April the 29th. And it's just a great event. Bring your wife. Bring your husband. Bring everybody. It's an adult event, by the way. Open bar. Food is all provided. Okay. It's all in the ticket price.
And a singer.
Oh, yes. The best Sinatra impersonator you have ever seen in your life will be there because it's a Vegas night, so you got to have a little lounge singer. Mm-hmm. And Derek Evelsizer will be there, and he's well-known in Colorado. Used to sing in the cigar room at Del Frisco's back until they shut that place, the cigar room down. He's great, and he will be there throughout the night as well. So great entertainment if you like going to Vegas. This is a way to go to Vegas and not lose money because we're not really gambling. We're just having a casino night.
Right. All right.
It's April 29th.
All to give back and to provide service to others.
And tickets are available at riverspromise.org. Just go to the events tab. You'll see them and people can get it. And it all goes back to the charity and all goes back to help people like Stephen and his little brother and their family and put kids into school.
Right. And
by the way, thank you, Judy Pfeifer, for being one of the sponsors of the event. Remax Momentum, Judy Pfeifer, sponsoring one of the events. Yes. We'll have a big sign up for you. Maybe flashing lights above your table.
Yeah, a little blue. But again, it's about service towards others.
And thank you you're always very generous to all of our events, our golf tournament, our casino night. So thank you.
Of course, my pleasure. So we end our podcast with a closeout quote. Jimmy, do you have a closeout quote for us today?
I do, and it's so simple. You warned me that I should have a quote. And I said, what's the quote that I like to live by? And it really is the one my parents told me grow up. It's the old golden rule: treat others as you want to be treated, or do to other people like you want them to do to you. And that's what we do with Rivers Promise. We take care of people the way we hope that we were that for somebody to take care of us that way.
Right on. Well, again, thank you for being on Pfeifer Focus.
Thank you for being a supporter of Rivers Promise.
My pleasure. And until the next time, and are you ready?
I've been practicing.
All right. Thanks again for watching Pfeifer Focus.